Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the third installment of our Raethborne series. This is Deja Vu. Joke's on you if you weren't here, but
Yeah.
basically, sum it up, we had a really, before we dive into this, we had a really great RP session, and it was, I was impressed with us, as a group. And then secondly, big shout out to you guys for showing your support. There was over 20 of you in the chat on Sunday. Hopefully we can stay strong with that, though we still don't know what our Easter schedule's like, so stay tuned after to find out if we find out. So without further ado, let's dive into this. We left off our last session finishing combat. Arthur is dead. Ileana killed him. And
Not out of hostility.
you keep on saying that. I still don't buy it.
Well,
you know what?
she asked, and he said, "Go for it." So
you know what? Devril was unconscious because he almost followed Arthur into the afterlife with getting fucked in the face with a sword. But helmets are a good thing. So
Yeah,
Devril
finishes
the fight unconscious. Then there was there was still a mysterious woman who actually saved Ileana because she was next in said sword fucking after Arthur. And as soon as the battle ended, she stopped Devril's bleeding. That's what I'm trying to say. Words. Wow. Okay, yeah. Yes, she helped him out.
Yep.
Yep.
Are you okay?
I'm done. Yes. Let's
Okay.
keep on going.
So yeah, we pick off the this session. We hear fighting around us. We're done our battle, but there is still, it's kind of moving down the river. If we don't leave now, we'll get caught in the battle, so we decide to skedaddle because a lot of us need medical attention. Ileana takes the big sword from the big guy for a gift, for gift purposes, and Nurhaus drags Arthur's body away. Mysterious lady removes her helmet and yells some orders to some guys who are nearby, who come over and pick up Devril.
Yep.
Just pick him up, carry him around, and start walking away with him. These guys are wearing blue, so we know that they're the good guys, which is good.
Quote unquote good guys.
Good guys. They're the better.
They're the better
lesser
guys.
Of the two evils. Yeah.
That's
it. Val, meanwhile, has transformed behind a building and comes to join us back as in her human form, because all of us are following the blue guys that are carrying our friend away.
Yep.
So we're like, well, we better go, or we're gonna lose them. Nurhaus catches up with us because he is currently looting Arthur. In
a good way.
Good intentions, yeah.
He's looting him in a good way.
Yeah, in a good way. So he takes Arthur's illicit substance, which we found out was the street drug named Angelus. Yeah. He also takes a knife. And a coin purse.
Yep.
That doesn't have coins in it. It does jingle, but like a weird, not coiny jingle. Turns out it's the bones of the fingers that Arthur took from people that he killed, and he collected them and skinned them and put them in this coin purse because he's a crazy person. Really? Yep, a little bit. So, Nurhaus catches up with us. We take a look at the woman who just showed up out of nowhere. She's in full plate armor, which is very ornate, very intricate designs. It looks like she's pretty well off. Her sword is also really, really well made.
Head honcho right there. Head honcho status.
Honcho. My theory was that she was Gwen, but
you failed. No.
nothing
Too
has
soon.
confirmed that.
Too soon.
Nothing, not confirmed yet.
Hashtag too
though.
soon.
Not confirmed yet. So while we're walking, Nurhaz swaps a shield with the fallen blue guy because he still has the red shield with the cloth.
Yeah, which got like wrecked, so it's like in tatters now and a little
Yeah,
bit of red
it's-
showing.
Yeah, you can't even tell what it is. So he's like, I'm gonna get a real one, and then he just switches it out.
Yeah,
So
on their way out, Devril regains consciousness. Is able to walk by himself, and the lady orders them to continue heading west to the main camp, where she will talk to us after she has finished fighting, since she still has fighting to do. And so the party just continues on, seeing as they are all really wounded, can't fight anymore, and they don't really have a lot of choices. So seeing as she did rescue them, they continue heading west to the main camp. On their way, though, on the outskirts of the city, they pass by some houses and some buildings that have been burnt recently, as the embers are still hot. And in one of the buildings stands a little girl. Devril immediately goes up to her. He introduces himself. He asks for her name. She does her whole shy thing and skitters behind, a beam. But Devril continues to coax her out, and the little girl's name is Ellie. Her parents are dead.
I should note that they're literally right next to her, burnt to a crisp.
Yeah, she was standing right next.
Yeah. It's unmistakable that those are her parents.
Yeah, so Devril asked
yeah.
if she has anywhere to go, he'll take her to somewhere safe. She says that her aunt lives in Lephis. And so we're like, okay, sweet. Her aunt's live in Lephis. Even though Devril's hurt, he picks her up and gives her a piggyback ride. And she's carrying a doll. She has a doll with her, named Dolly, and they continue west. Now, during this whole interaction, she gets pretty attached to Ileana, and tries to, and since Devril is walking next to her, she tries to reach out and grab Ileana, which Ileana is not down for. She is absolutely repulsed. Devril doesn't notice. I don't know if anyone else knows. I think they do, especially like Nurhaz. But she doesn't want to touch this kid. Ellie is covered in soot and whatever.
Yeah, Ileana's a total
yeah.
germaphobe.
Devril is also like covered in blood and is bleeding from head to toe, and Nurhaz is just fucked as well.
Yeah, everyone's gross.
Everyone's bad. So
especially the kid though.
Yeah, especially the kids. So the party approaches the camp. There are a couple guards. No one really pays them any attention right now, even though they stand out. Once they enter the camp, some guards do stop them, looking at the party over. They notice Devril's medallion, Judicator medallion, but they see Val, who is this hooded figure, very tall, and they look her over, look back at Devril, and ask, safe? To which Devril replies, yes, she's with me.
Did you talk about the banners already?
Not yet. We're not in the camp yet.
Okay.
I don't know.
Do your thing.
Okay. So they're allowed entrance into the camp. They're permitted into the camp. I totally forgot that I had to be adjudicator because I was totally in Devril mode. So yeah, he stammers out the yeah she's with me, and they hesitantly let us in. So there we stand in the camp. There's a bunch of men everywhere. Banners are up. There is four primary ones, four big ones that we see. One of them is the what we saw at the beginning of the like the first 2 days from across the river. That's what I'm trying to say. And it is a speared wolf on a spear, which is
A speared wolf on a spear.
a speared wolf on a spear. Don't question me.
You know, dog, I heard you like spears.
Yo, so I put more spears in your spears so you can spear while you spear, okay? That's the biggest camp. They're very orderly. We'll do this now. Yeah, they're very orderly. Every man has its own tent. It's very organized, and yeah, they're the largest. They're the largest. We don't know who they are though. We'll get to that. Secondly, there's the sword and a scale, like a sword and a scale crossing each other. They're the ones that are pretty rambunctious, right? No, not that one. We didn't get a description of that. Anyway, they're a large camp as well. The third one is a bear in a red field, in the red background, and that one is a very rambunctious group. That one is led.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very rowdy. They have really good equipment, but it's not the best equipment. But they're very energetic. They're very energetic. And fourthly, the most important one is the knight on a bridge, which is probably the smallest out of all four of them. No, smallest out of all four of them. But Ellie, we ask Ellie if she recognizes any of these banners, and she says, that one. And she points to the one with the knight on the bridge, and we ask her, oh, like, what's that banner? And she replies with, Mommy says that's our banner. Like, that's our Lord.
That's our Lord, yeah.
Yeah, that's our Lord. And so we're like, okay, sure, that's the best place to start. Let's go. So we head through the camp towards this, towards the side that carries the knight on a bridge. And as we enter, we see a group of men huddled around in a circle, and in the middle of this ring is a fist fight.
I want to do this part.
Yeah, that's why I paused.
All right.
That's all you.
So, yeah. So there's this huge ring of people, bare knuckle boxing going on in this ring. So one's an older guy. He's a silver fox. I wrote that down so I didn't use it. He's got broad shoulders. Oh my God, really? I wrote that?
You wrote that.
He was a babe in his younger years, is what I wrote down.
You're not wrong.
No, yeah, had to
You're
be
not wrong.
Very good looking back in his day. Still pretty good looking, aged like a fine wine, but had to start somewhere.
No, not wine. He aged like scotch.
Aged like. All right. Anyway, keep it in your pants, Seika. This guy's got battle scars. Doesn't have a shirt on, obviously, because why would you when you were, fist fighting, and shit like that. The other guy, I don't know where I'm going.
Keep it in your pants.
I'm trying to. So the other guy, he's younger. He's very big, and he's taking shots like a champ to the face. So a couple of punches are thrown. The younger guy doesn't seem to be feeling them, but he's taking some pretty substantial punches. Is throwing some too, but the older guy is dodging, and he's got more technique. Finally, the older guy takes a big wind up and dislocates the younger guy's jaw. Not once, but twice. Just gets him right here, dislocates it, right here. The whole thing it just becomes
Unhinges.
dislocated. The guy's holding his face. He's clearly broken the jaw now, not just dislocated it. And then RKO out of nowhere. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, knocks the guy out, the younger guy, and that's the end of that. One guy comes in and checks if he's breathing, if he's not dead.
And yeah, they say he's out, and they drag him out.
Yeah.
The reaction of the crowd is kind of surprising. There's a lot of people displeased. They actually start throwing whatever is on hand at the older gentleman who has won. There are a couple who are smiling though as they collect money. People were betting on the match, but yeah, in the general consensus, they're not happy this guy won and start chucking shit at him. But as soon as the match concluded, there are two men that actually approach the older gentleman and handcuff him.
Yeah.
After he puts his shirt back on and fixes himself, they handcuff him. Now, while all this is happening, wait, hold on a second.
Oh yeah, no.
Well,
it's good.
yeah,
Good.
before so they're watching all of this, and Ilyana and Nurhaz take an interest to the fight, and so they go over. Devril, along with Devril, who has Ellie with him, doesn't seem it doesn't seem that it's appropriate to take her to such a place, so he volunteers to stay with her off to the side, and they play together. Val, still not sure, but seeing the disposition of people towards her, stays very close to Devril, as so that there's no, they don't start anything out of, there's no misunderstandings. So Ilyana and Nurhaz approach the ring. The match ends, and Ilyana sees them about to carry this older gentleman off.
Yeah, so now seeing what this guy is made of, seeing what he's capable of, Ilyana sees a very good opportunity. So she and Nurhaz approach these men that have shackled the prisoner, the fighter, and she asks if she could talk to the guy, or if she can have a moment with him, and the guy's kind of like, well, you're gonna have to pay. Besides, I'm better. And she's like, how much? Oh wait, no, he says I'm better, and then the older guy says that's not what your wife said. And then the guy hits the silver fox across the face, and to which he says, she hits harder than you do.
His partner goes, oi, oi, don't ruin the merchandise. That's enough.
Yeah. So so Ilyana says, like, well, I'm willing to pay, but I want to examine the merchandise first. So they're like, okay, I guess, like, here you go, and they give some slack on the chain, and
they actually they lock him to a post.
They uncuff him, and then so and then they walk away a little bit. So Ilyana talks to him, and she says, hey,
hey, how you doing? How's your day?
How's
you come here often?
So they chat a little bit, and she's like, what's your story? And he says, well, I'm from the West. He's got a Scottish accent. He's a good fighter, but they don't like him.
He's from Gaelic. He's
from Gaelica.
No, he's
Gaelic.
He's Gaelic, and he comes from. Okay, we'll go with it. I didn't write that down. So he's
His name is Evander Mackenzie. We learn. And Nurhaz, Ileana, well, they're trying to like wondering like what else he has to offer, and Nurhaz asks if he can patch our wounds.
Yeah,
To
what are
which he
your
says,
skills besides fighting? And
yeah.
Nurhaz asks if you can patch it. To which he nods. He
Mm-hmm.
says, I can do it. If I have my shit, I can
Yeah, so
do that.
Ileana goes, okay, well, Nurhaz, go get the others. So he goes and gets them, brings
It's
Devril, and
it's too funny because it was at this moment where, like, rewind. As soon as Chains came in, I'm going like this, like pointing to
you
myself
were, I know,
frantically, and
I watched
I
the
just get
VOD.
ignored. Like it doesn't click to
I
both
watched,
Bunny or Captain Legs,
I know,
and I'm
I
like,
watched the
this
VOD.
guy can do it.
I
No,
watched
no.
the VOD, and we were both looking at you, and you're like freaking out. Both of us are like, what?
Yeah, and I'm
And then
like,
just
oh
kept
my
going.
fucking god.
Yeah. Anyway, so finally, we called Devril over
Yeah,
because we
Devril
were
and Val.
freaking out.
Um,
Yeah, Devril and Val come over. Devril is confused as to what's going on right now, and so
that's,
he
that's why
asks,
you're, yeah.
yeah, he asks Evander like what's going on, and he says, "Oh, well, I'm in chain," or he says, "Why are you in chains?" He says, "I'm in chains because I'm from the wrong place." Um, so then Devril goes to talk to the guards who are standing by, and they notice that Devril's there, and they're like, "Shit, shit, shit, shit! It's an adjudicator! Oh my god!" Like, and they're just,
You actually, when Nurhaz calls us over, you stay with Evander, and
yeah.
you hear them going, "Oh shit, it's adjudicator."
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
And she's
and
like,
she's like,
"Oh."
"Oh, yeah, there you go." So that's the reason why you come with me. So after I hear the whole side of Evander, I asked, "And you all?" And he says, "I'm Evander McKenzie. I was like, why are you in chains? Like, what's your crime?" He says, "I just came from the wrong place. That's it."
Yeah.
Which gets Devril going. Like he's like, "What? No, that's wrong." The white knight syndrome. Let's go. The naive sense of black and white justice. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
And so he
So then,
goes over.
Ileana suggests that she goes and talks to the guys because she's like, I'm pretty sure you're gonna have some sway because I just heard them saying that they were, And he's like, okay, so yeah.
Yeah, it's like actually Devril asks who holds his keys, and he says, those two
Oh,
over
right,
there. And I said,
right.
okay, I'll talk to them. So I asked, I go over to the guys, and they're not happy, but they're very respectful. And I ask them what the guy is in prison for, and they say, well, he's a Gaelic, he's under suspicion of being a spy. To which I ask, well, I wish to speak with him and talk to him in private, and they're like, absolutely, that's your job. Sure. Like, so they hand over the keys, and I ask if there was like a tent we can use, like a semi-private place, and they give us a lean-to, and which is near us. So I go back to the party, lead them. I tell Evander to have a seat, and we talk. So apparently, he says that he was just passing through in an inn, and they didn't like him, and he got put into chains. He got arrested. Devril doesn't think that it's the whole story, so he makes that clear to Evander, and Evander kind of spills that he might have like fought them, which Devril automatically jumps to conclusion that he might have killed some of them. Which Evander's like, no, I've never killed a man. I'm a doctor. Like, I'm a medic. Like, I heal people. It's just that I'm not gonna, stand. Like, I'm not gonna back down from a fight. So, Devril, finally getting the truth, smiles and says something along the lines of, now wasn't the truth, wasn't honesty better? So they kind of have an understanding for that, and Devril makes him a deal. He says, I can get you free, but me and my friends need something from you. To which he replies, if your wounds, I can fix it. And Devril's like, that and a little more, like, but you're in no position to say no if you want your freedom. Like, anything's better than this, right? And so Evander agrees, and he's like, fine, whatever, I'll do whatever you want if I can get out of here. At the time, at that specific moment, Evander didn't kill anyone. That's not why he was arrested. That's all I meant. I'm being corrected. Goddamn.
By the man himself. Though.
Yeah, you know what I mean. God damn it. Okay, forget it. Moving on. Which Devril which I'll kind of I want to bring that hand rub right here. I want to bring that up next session. The reason. So Devril has he wants Evander to patch them up and follow them for a reason. So he uncuffs him. He asks him if he has any stuff to grab. He says the guards have them, and Devril goes and fetches Evander's stuff. To which Devril actually gives a parting word to the two guards, since he's caught on that this is more of a prejudice rather than anything that Evander did wrong. He says, I'm not gonna fault you for your decision to arrest him, but I would sure hope that in the future you show a little bit more discretion, right? So they're a little scared, and they say, of course, and they scatter off. And so Devril brings all of Evander's stuff. He has a surgeon kit. He actually patches up Nurhaz and myself, and he also looks over Ellie, cleans her off as well as all of us, and then Nurhaz is taking care of his armor. So Devril takes off his armor and gets Nurhaz to look it over as well. It is at this moment where we start looking around the camp, right? Val is off. Val is looking around, and we're a little lost at this moment. We were told by the woman to stay here and wait for her, and she'll talk to us, but we're kind of lost. Val points out that there's this big command tent, like there's the bigger tent with the nearby that has the banner of the knight on the bridge. So there's that. Like, we could go there. And her personally, she's trying to look for like a commander type of person. And I don't know if she actually ended up doing that. Like singing, casting a spell. I don't think
she did. She cast a spell on a guy rallying the troops.
But nothing came of that, so I don't know if maybe she rolled bad. Yeah, maybe she just rolled bad and failed or something. Like I don't know, because Jeffrey didn't go. I think I might have sidetracked him. But yeah, there's some commotion that's happening, and the bear on a red field, that group ends up being rallied. They are starting to get very loud, and there's this man.
No.
Is that later?
That's later.
That's later. Okay. It's Devril in the command tent first, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Seeing as fuck his name, Evander is looking after Ellie, making sure she's not hurt and cleaned her off, and Devril is now patched up as best as possible, and he's cleaned off, and Nurhaz is working on their armor, and they just have a bunch of downtime. He decides to go to the command tent. He's a little nervous about it, but he finds out that, well, he thinks to himself that he is adjudicator, and he's basically had it reinforced that he holds a little bit of power. So he makes it up to the guards, which are guarding the entrance of the tent, and he gets stopped. And he asks if he can see the Lord. Or I think I say commander, Lord or commander, or something like that.
Yeah.
They say the Lord is busy right now. You'll have to come back later.
And name drop.
Yeah, so Deverell's a little bit confused, and he says, very well, when he's free, can you tell him that the adjudicator Deverell is here to see him? The men look a little bit uneasy, and finally one of them lifts open the flap of the tent. He says, "My lord, there's adjudicator Deverell here to see you." To which, and I don't know why I remember this. He sighs, like he looks frustrated. I don't know if he was frustrated with me or with the battle plans, because Jeffrey was saying that they were over a table, and there's a map and there's figurines and they're making battle plans. But he hears that and he sighs and he looks a bit frustrated, and he says, "Show him in." So I enter the tent, and you want to describe? Did you write this down? I wrote it down, but do you want to describe the two?
No.
No? Okay.
I didn't write it down in much detail.
So the Lord is, as you can spec, he's quite an older gentleman. He has fine plate armor. He has the castle guard on his shoulder that's covering half of his face, like the jousting guys. And there's a frog helmet on the table. There's a helmet in the shape of a frog. That's his. Now there's a bit of a younger knight still on the older side on the other side of the table, making plans with him. Has very simple armor, but it's very well made, and his helmet is pretty plain looking, but we know it's his helmet because there is a part where it got remade. There's a slash across his left eye, and the matching scar of said knight also has it. So this helmets are good. PSA announcement: helmets are good. Always wear your helmet. This helmet has seen some shit with him. So he approaches, and the Lord says, he says something along the lines of, "Adjudicator Deverell, I thought you dead." Yeah.
That's what he says.
Okay. Yep.
In quotes, I wrote it down.
Nice. Which Deverell's just like, fuck.
What?
Oh shit. He continues. He's like, you helped a lot. I was able to get my men out. I couldn't go back for you. Sorry. Like it's fine,
I guess.
Yeah. You're much more resilient than I thought. Yeah, I'm glad you're alive, but thanks. And so Deverell's just like, I was just helping out, kind of. Yeah, I was, whatever. And he's just going along with it. And so he's like, what can I, Deverell asks if he was able to get his men out safe. He's like, yes, your help is good. And Deverell basically reiterates that, yeah, he's a adjudicator, maybe, and he doesn't pick sides, but he was just helping he picks the side most justified. So the Lord's like, oh, you're fighting for our cause. You know that we're on the right side. You fight for us. And I say, for now, like, I can't really. Adjudicators have no allegiance. But TLDR, he asked for supplies. The Lord says yes, for all the help that I was able, I gave him, apparently. And he says that Lady Sarmoth they are expecting Lady Sarmoth to come, so they will have a bunch more of supplies. So we are able to take from the quartermaster. He says, go to the quartermaster. He'll, do whatever, and you can grab your stuff there. I'm like, sweet, okay. Not wanting to stay there any longer because I might get found out, I leave, and I say, I won't intrude. It turns over, thank God, to him, and he's like, sir, actually, no, it was because I say, he asked what we need, and I say, well, for one, I need a new helmet. I have this gash that's bandaged on my head, and I says, as you can see, mine is pretty broken, and the knight that has the gash on his helmet, instinctively, folds his arms and, touches his scar, and and the Lord says his name. He says, Sir Adam knows much about that, or something like that, which is good because I don't know the name of this Lord. So finally we go to the court. I round everybody, like, hey, we can get supplies, let's go to the quartermaster. I'm just gonna skip the armies because we already kind of talked about it.
But
yeah, you can add. What's up?
I got this. So
okay.
We're on our way to the quartermaster. Wow, if my voice would work, I can do it. So we head to the quartermaster's tent. It's towards the back end of camp, so we have to go through like everyone to get there. So the first group that we go by, it's the bear and the Redfield people.
Yep.
It's a very old man, but he's huge. He's humongous, and he's in full plate armor. He's got a full head of hair and a big black mustache. He says, or he reminded me, the description reminded me of Armstrong from Full Metal Alchemist.
It's sleek too, like it's oil.
Yeah.
It's well taken care of.
Yeah, so yes, very, very nice little curly mustache. A big curly mustache. He's waving a huge two-handed axe, which is enormous because this guy's enormous. So it's like a lot bigger than a normal two-handed axe. Anyway, Devril
had a two-handed axe, and it was double the size of Devril's two-handed axe.
Yeah.
Which he doesn't have anymore since they only carried him and not his shit, but whatever.
Yeah. But he has a sword, so that's
yeah.
That's a good thing. Devril grabs the closest person to him and asks who that is, and it's Viscount Halcombe.
Yep.
Now there's somebody else. As we keep walking, there's another woman in chainmail, but it's very light chainmail. It looks very elven. She's wielding,
but not elven.
But not elven. I mean. Like it's elven style.
It's very It's very.
It just looks very light and like.
It's very sleek. Let me put it that way. It's very sleek. Yeah.
Okay.
Just because you have to remember, elven.
Like they
elven
hate
in
elves,
this world
but,
is bad.
I mean, like that's how he. Anyway, So she's got this big ornate sword, this beautiful sword, and a shield to match it. She's young, very fair. She has striking features. And her men are very, very well equipped. And so Devril grabs the closest person to him and asks who that is. It is Viscountess Alana Raethborne.
Yep.
And this is who are these people? The Scale
This
swords?
is the Scale and Swords.
Okay. Yeah.
It's the Scale and Swords.
Yeah. And then lastly, one man stands with his hands on his hips, surveying his army. He's very fair complexion. He's got ginger hair, and piercing blue eyes. And Deverell again asks the nearest person who it is, and it is Viscount Alton Wallace, the Lord of Lancashire. That's the guy. That's the frickin' Lord. This is the dude who everyone is fighting for. This is the
Yep.
blue guy, the blue
That's
team leader.
the blue team. Sir
Yeah.
Blue Team.
Yeah. So yeah, finally we reached the quartermaster and
Yep. So we reached the quartermaster. He's a pretty young guy. He has a peg leg. We assume that he was fighting, lost his leg, still wanted to be of use, and so they threw him in the quartermaster position. And he asked, "Who sent us?"
who indeed?
Who indeed? So Deverell has no idea who the name of the man on the bridge is. He asked Ellie on their way there, but Ellie's like 7 years old. She has no idea.
Yeah.
She's not a smart 7-year-old. So, but he remembers the night, and so Deverell scavenges or salvages the encounter by saying Sir Adam. To which the quartermaster's like, one of Manly's men. Woo! Got it. So Lord Manly is the lord that runs the man on the bridge under the banner of the Knight on the Bridge. So he asked us what we need, and we were able to get some really good stuff.
Yeah.
For those who actually passed their influence test, that's right. Deverell gets a full suit of scale mail. Thank God.
Mm-hmm.
And a bunch of people got stuff. You got like a leather hood because helmets are good. But yeah, it's you got a leather hood.
Yeah, and then all of us, pass or fail, got a pack with like trail rations.
Yeah, it's a week worth of like dried food and trail rations and just basic necessity traveling needs because we're leaving. Yep. And
while we're in there, this kind of went unnoticed because everybody was talking and Taylor was trying to RP. So he asks Ileana about her scar around her neck because he's like, you shouldn't have survived that because that goes all the way around.
Yeah, while we were changing,
yeah,
Evander takes a notice, and you know he takes a notice at you, and he RPs with you, but he also saw Tay made a point that Evander also saw Deverell's.
Yeah, he saw everyone.
And Nurhaz's. Yeah, because Nurhaz's saw for the first time Deverell's back as well.
Yeah, and he's like, you guys should not be alive right now if those are the scars that you have. So he directly asks Ileana what happened, like what that scar is, and she completely dances around the question. And honestly, she doesn't really know what happened, but yeah, she doesn't really give him a solid answer.
I'm so happy that honestly Evander doesn't know because hand rub. Next session. Ooh, Deverell. Ooh, back at it again.
What?
Oh, what you just gotta wait. I have plans. I have good plans. Because we left with us camping for the night. So RP time by the campfire. Yeah.
Anyway,
baked beans.
Anyway, oh my God. Anyway, so earlier, Ellie had told us that her aunt lives in Lefis.
Yep.
So
we asked the quartermaster. We basically asked the quartermaster of the surrounding area, and he actually gives us a map of said surrounding area. He gives us the big overarching map that the old man showed us, and then he also gives us the map of the fief.
Like a smaller,
the fief, right? The fief. We owned one of those. Yeah. In another life, we own one of those. So so basically we asked, we're like, hey, so where did the refugees go? And he says, oh well, someone west, someone south. I guess most of them went to Castle Wallace because Wallace is the man, the legend himself.
Good move.
So
Good move on their part.
yeah, and Devril asks, well, where's Lefis? He points it out on the map. He's like, how long does it take there? He's like, well, a month, unless you have some horses.
Yeah,
and then we're just like, holy shit, no.
Leave the kid. We're gonna go.
Everyone is all like, just drop the kid, just leave her here. Devril's, which not only did all the PCs say that, but like the characters are like, well, we could leave them with Manly and his men. And I'm like, me and Devril, well, okay, me as a PC is just like, God damn it, I don't want to have to do this. Devril's just like, are you kidding me? Like, you're leaving her with soldiers. They're like, why not? And I'm like, just stop that.
So Ileana pulls Devril aside. She's like, hey, we need to talk. Summons Zyron, who is thoroughly enjoying himself, watching Ileana try to avoid this child and failing.
Yeah, Zyron is very amused.
Yeah,
so very amused.
So she tries to get him to take a different stance. Fails roll miserably.
Well, it's not even a fail. Well, I mean, it's not even a failed roll. You asked him if he likes children. Zyron's just like, he dodges the question. I don't know, maybe this flew under your radar too, but he dodges the question. He doesn't give you an answer. He says, whatever Devril chooses.
Yeah.
I'll go with it. Whatever Devril chooses.
And she's like, I'm sick of this shit. Like, go away. You're not being helpful.
Yeah, no, he's thoroughly, you asked him some shit, and he's just like, whatever. And I remember you asking, well, what do you want? And Zyron's just like, as I said, whatever Devil wants. Like, and he's just thoroughly enjoying Ileana not having fun. It's great. Because she makes his life a living hell,
Yeah.
Serves you right.
So Zyron goes away and Devril comes back and he's like, what are we doing here? And she's like, oh, I forgot. Like, oh, nothing. And then she gives him a kiss on the cheek and he's like, I don't know what's going on.
But I like it.
Yeah. So they go back into the tent. We agree to go to Castle Wallace.
Mm-hmm. And I asked, well, before we leave the quartermaster, I asked if there are any wagons or any transport that's leaving for Lefis or Castle Wallace. And he says no one's leaving until the fight's over. So we're like, okay. So we go back and it's kind of the decision that we need to make. And Devril humbly asks, he's like, our plan was to go north, right, on the outskirts of the lake to Nurhaz's people. So maybe he can find answers there. At least that's one person. He's like, Castle Wallace is a bit west, but there's a road that goes straight there. And then we can just scoot up and go straight north. And he's like, Castle Wallace is only 4 days away. He says, I understand, Yeah, he said, I understand, it's a very selfish request, but please, I can't just leave her. Like, I just can't do it. Val surprisingly agrees. She is like so cold to Devril and like still hasn't told Devril her name yet. And it's just like, I agree, we should take her there. And Devril's like, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you for agreeing. Like, thank you, whatever. And she's like, I'm not doing this for you. And Devril's like, of course. Yeah, like, of course. Like, you're doing it for Ellie. Like, fine, whatever. Like, anything. Yeah. But Nurhaz just does his whole grunting thing about humans. Ileana is not happy.
She's dead set on leaving the kids somewhere. Just ditch the kids.
But it's whatever. And then Evander obviously is just tagging along to the party, which rub hands. Ah, so good. This right here. You just remember this. Remember, there is a reason why Devil is so adamant as well. There is an underlying reason. Just wait for it. Ooh, it's so good. I'm sorry. The hype is real.
Doing this.
Teasing.
Not fair.
I told you I would give you exposition to make your life easier. Did I not? And I said you need to pay attention to the little stuff now because they are with a purpose. So, there you go. I'm doing this for you. Anyway, so the party decides to go to Castle Wallace. They're set. It is at that moment that the camp stirs. There is apparently
the eastern side of the camp.
Yeah. And so all the bannermen, all the different armies, all the leaders or whatever are mobilizing, and they're spilling, they're marching basically towards Sandon. Now they're all gathering and they're marching towards Sandon, and we have a choice. We can either.
So we hear somebody yell, "They're attacking!" and we can either join in or run away. To which Evander says, "Well, time for this party to show its true colors," and we're like fuck your challenge. We're gonna run.
We're running away. Yeah, Devril does say, we can't bring Ellie in the middle of a fight. I'm gonna leave her while we're fighting.
Yeah.
Val says the battlefield is no place for a child, and we go the opposite direction.
Ileana says that too. She says it first.
Yes. Yeah. She's now accepted.
She also doesn't want to babysit. She said it with like extreme venom. She was like, "This is no place for a child." And Devril's probably like, "Oh, that's so sweet." And Ileana's like, "I fucking hate children."
Yeah. I knew she'd come around.
Yeah. So anyway, we run to the west, where we find a field, far away from that camp, far away from all the commotion. And we set up.
We're basically well, we walked through the day, and it's basically field. It's endless, like meadows and fields and whatnot. And we follow down the road, and when night falls, we make camp. Intense. Okay, are you ready? Okay. It is at this moment, camp sets up, and Nurhaz. Oh wait, no, sorry. I missed something. Before we decide, there's battle cries are raging out in the camp. And it is that moment where Devril looks stunned for a moment, and he asks, Aren't we missing someone? Where's Arthur?
Oh, yeah.
And the whole party's just like, nope, not here, not right now.
Yeah.
No, we'll talk about this later. Yeah, we are going to talk about this later. This is not the place for it. And so they spent the entire rest of the day as they're traveling just thoroughly confused. It's, okay, what's going on? Night falls, they set up camp. Nurhaz approaches Devril in the outskirts of the camp. And he takes out the dagger, which he had engraved Arthur's name on it, and the purse of bones. And he says, "Arthur's." He just says he could just come out to it. He says, "Arthur's dead. We'll give him. We weren't able to give him proper burial, so this will have to do." So he digs a little hole, puts the pouch in, covers it up, and then uses the dagger in the ground as like a cross. And he walks back and pats Devril on the shoulder, and he says, "Take your time." And he walks back into camp. Oh, and Devril's there, be like, "Nahas, you're joking, right? What?" And he says, "It's okay, lad," and then walks out. And Devil just loses it. Like
He's in
he
fucking
starts
shambles.
he breaks down. He's wailing, he's crying, he's screaming. And yeah, he's like on the brink of losing it. So Ileana, like, yeah, Val and Ileana kind of like notice, and Ileana goes to him.
Yeah. Tries to comfort him, and he's being so loud. Like, he's got to be drawing some sort of attention at some point if he keeps this up. So so Ileana
It was
summons
an
Zyron.
epic cry.
It was a no. Yeah. So Ileana summons Zyron just to shut him up, just to because Zyron's not going to be wailing.
Yeah.
So yeah, Zyron comes out and says
He's like Devil's in the position where he's on his knees and he's just, he's there just letting it all out. He summons Aaron, he shuts up, but there's like leftover like tears and shit. But Zyron looks pretty calm. This is all you, because I don't remember.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
I do, but I know what I said, but I don't know what you said.
Okay, I watched the VOD, so I memorized the whole thing because it's so good.
I rewatched it too, but that was a couple days ago.
So Zyron. It's Zyron now.
Yeah.
He's like, you told me that you were going to protect him.
Yeah.
And she's like, I was going to tell him, but the freaking dwarf just like went for it. And then what does Zyron say to that?
Is like, he says, I don't care about your excuses. What use are you?
Right. Right. And she's like, okay, whatever, dude. Like, you're not being very nice. I don't remember what she said either.
It's so something anyway, along. Yeah. She's like,
they have a conversation. Finally, she's done being nice. She's like, I try to protect
that was
him.
Nice? Get the fuck out of here. Fuck
she's
you,
the worst
Ileana.
person. She's the freaking worst. So finally, she's like, okay, done talking. You want to know how it felt to kill Arthur? Because I'll tell you. And Zyron lunges.
No. You.
What?
No. You bait this. You bait this out. And Zyron gives you a chance. He says you.
Oh right. Watch
you
your
stepped.
step.
Yeah. You stepped too far. Like, watch your mouth.
Yeah.
Don't you fucking dare. And you say, it's like, oh, do you like? And I think you ask again, or say something like, do you? No, that's. I'm not gonna say that. No. But yeah, you ask. Do you ask?
Oh yeah, she's like, do you? She's like, do you feel his pain or something?
Yeah. So okay.
And
okay,
he's like, you stepped too far. And then she's like, want to know how it felt to kill Arthur? And he's like, okay, that's fucking it.
Yeah.
And then he goes for. Yeah, grabs her throat, slams her onto the ground, like by her throat. And he's like, watch your step. And she's like, and she threatens to scream.
Yeah.
We're really not.
I'm squeezing. Like, Zyron is actually squeezing, not just like, oh, I'm going to take and then take down and then, just pinning her down. Like, he's choking her. And we're not that far away.
Yeah.
We're like 20 feet. So everyone sees this.
Yeah, and Evander takes action and books it out and fucking does a takedown tackle.
Yeah.
To Zyron, just like tackles him off of Ileana. She gets up and coughs, starts like crying because she's playing the victim.
Yeah, you're fucking playing it up, and it's whatever.
Yeah.
So it's enough. It sends Zyron sprawling. Knocks him down. But it would have stunned any man. It would have stunned anyone else except me. Yeah. So Zyron quickly recovers and gets up, and he says, "Know your place." And to which Evander replies with, "Adjudicators don't hit women."
Yeah.
And I say, Zyron replies, who are you to tell me what to do? And he says, I forget what he says. He says something along the lines of, I'm just taking action against, or like I'm just protecting what
I
I
don't know what he
see.
says.
Or yeah, it's like,
Yeah, something
yeah,
like
he's
that.
just, yeah,
Anyway,
he's just,
he
and
tries to intimidate
well, no, he
Evander.
says, yeah, remember who gave you your freedom, and he says that wasn't
Mm,
you, which is a total lie. So
yeah.
yeah, so I'm like, that caught me off guard a little bit because I'm like, that's not even remotely true. So Zyron, it goes, tries to intimidate Evander to make him back down. He pulls out his sword, the great sword, the falchion that he's wielding now, and he doesn't back down. Evander basically raises his fist, ready for a fight. They stare, like they have a stare down for a few moments, and Zyron Zyron goes and puts his sword
Yeah.
puts his sword into the ground, like stabs his sword into the ground, and stalks off. You're gonna bring it. So Evander goes
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, so he
There you
stalks
go.
off. Evander goes back to the Tay's just beefing you right now. That's so good. Anyway, so yeah, Evander goes back to the fire.
Fucking recap. Like we're going off from like notes and memory. Come on, holy crap.
Yeah, goes back to the fire. Val,
Mm.
or well, he asks Ileana if she's okay before going
Yes.
back,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
she's like, "Oh, like I think I'll be fine." And he's like, "You got that was really different. You guys were like really different
Yeah.
earlier together." And she's
Yeah.
like, "It's just a bit of a lovers' quarrel." And he's like, "Whatever, y'all are weird." And he
Yeah.
goes back to the fire.
He also says
Oh yeah, he's like,
that
"What?
it's that's
What got
like
into
that's
him or
not
something?"
like, yeah, that's not the kind man that I met. Like I don't like th- they what are we called? They Thades?
Theron?
Theron? Yeah,
Yeah.
Theron. Yeah, I don't like Therandians, but that's not the kind man that I met, right? And
Yeah,
he's like, oh,
and
he's just
she's
tired. And I was like, what? He's just tired.
I wanted it to be a lie. It was such a lie, and I wanted it to that it went the way I wanted it to. So Val looks at Ileana and she's like, she gives her the like, we need to fucking talk later look, and
Yeah.
Ileana's like, no, and decides to go after him. To which Val says, "That's a great idea. I'll come with you." And Ileana's like, "Okay, how do I get rid of this chick?" And she says, "Oh well, if you don't mind watching." And everyone's like, "Watching? Oh." So yeah,
Yeah.
so Ileana goes out, walking quite a ways ahead of Val because she doesn't want to talk to her. She doesn't want
Yup.
to believe that she's there following her. And she goes out, approaches with caution. She waited until she could see any sort of
You didn't.
like
He just lies
variation.
down.
Yeah, any
Yeah.
variation in his movements, but he just lies down in the grass. So approaching with caution, she walks up and calls Devril's name.
Yeah.
And then she hears sniffles.
Sniffles. That's it, man.
And those are the Devril sniffles because Zyron does not.
Zyron doesn't sniffle. Wait, what? Zyron catches a cold. Shit.
I said I don't sniffle. Yeah. Anyway, so they go. She goes up and sits down next to him, and she's like, "Devril, you're okay?" And he's like, "No." I don't know what he said. I don't know what he said. He said something. What did he say?
I don't fucking know.
Oh yeah, and she's like, "Do you want me to go?" And he's like, "No, I'd never ask that." And so she she lies down next to him, and they look at the stars, and some weird fucking shit is going on in the sky.
This was good. We would have never known. We would have never known if we didn't look up.
There are 3 goddamn moons. Their names are Luna, Mira, and Tura, because what's his face? Because Evander is back at the fire telling the story about this.
To the Val leaves once Val sees their whatever, she leaves and goes back to camp, and then Evander is telling them this stuff.
So all of these the 3 moons are moving. They seem to be eclipsing. We're like watching them get closer and closer because they are eclipsing. This only happens once a year. It is which means they call it the weird tide, weird with a Y.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantasy. And we find that it is the second month called Mercator. It's the 5th of Mercator. That's the date. That's
5th of Mercator. Yep.
Yeah. And it's the three moons.
Yeah. Luna, just as a specific, Luna and Mira are going clockwise together, and Tura is by itself going the opposite direction. That's why they don't meet. Apparently, I wrote that down.
Good. Because I did.
And while Evander is also reciting the tale in the camp, he also says that the legend of the weird tide, saying that children conceived.
Shut up! It didn't happen. Nothing happened.
Yeah, nothing happened. Nothing happened.
During the weird tide are called weirdlings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
they're like these mystical beings.
Yeah, who are like gifted with stuff. I don't know. I kind of wasn't paying attention, but yes. Yeah.
Well, it's in our rule book. Because weirdling was the thing that.
Oh yeah.
I just remembered that was a thing, a race you could take.
Nice.
Okay, yeah. So Ileana gets up to leave, or says she's gonna leave. Devril says she can stay, and
Devril says don't go.
He says don't go, and then after the show is the after party. And after the party is the hotel lobby. And round about 4, we gotta clear the lobby and then take it to the field and freak somebody. So, shit happened. They had a little moment. Little freaky times out in the field.
Thank you so much, Blake, for the follow.
Oh my god, you followed after that? Wow, I thought you were gonna lose followers after.
Oh shit. Okay.
Fuck it. So.
Yep. Yeah. No.
Things happen in the night, and we wake up to hoofbeats.
Hoofbeats. Yeah.
It's a man in blue in some light armor on a horse. Evander yells at him.
Yeah, waves him down.
Yeah, and you can take this next part.
Yeah. So Evander waves him down and asks him what's going on. And the messenger says that the Amarians have taken Sandon. He doesn't know what something tickles the back of Ileana's. Ileana and Devril show up a little late to the conversation because they were out in the field. But yeah, something tickles the back. You fail your roll again, so you have no idea. But Evander knows and asks us what you don't know, Amarians. And so exposition says that Amarians come from a very far off land across the sea. It's weird to have them here. Like, why are they here? The messenger says that maybe that the Amarians are working. Yeah, he doesn't know why, but the Amarians are working with Bannock, and they have taken the side of the city. So he was looking for Lady Sarmoth, who was supposed to be coming with extra troops and supply, or her troops and supplies, and telling her that the city has fallen and probably most of the Bannermen as well. Hopefully not, but they're still fighting. So we say, no, we haven't noticed the procession. You should keep on going. And he leaves. He's like, I need to go. And I'm like, okay, later, bye.
Yep.
That's it. Yep.
Word for word.
Yep.
Okay, later, bye.
Yeah, later. Yeah. So we pack up because we were still heading to Castle Wallace. So it's late in the morning. So we continued down the road, and off in the distance we see a large procession. It's headed by a very young girl, around the age of 16, and next to her is a man that looks like kind of her like caretaker. Like she's very.
Yeah, she keeps glancing at him and looking at him as if like she needs reassurance from him. So she'll look at him and he'll nod and she'll go, oh, okay, and then continue.
I need to remember how to remember.
Yeah, she seems really, really nervous. So they approach. The knight. There's a knight like leading the.
Yeah, Devril actually waves to them, and then her right hand man, the guy that's like reassuring,
he waves us over. He calls us over.
Yeah, motions for us to approach.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Devril, along with the group, walks up to her and says, asks, you must be Lady Sarmoth. To which she looks over to her right, to her
She's
counselor.
Like, that's me, right?
And then he's like, he nods and he's like, yes, I am Lady Sarmoth. And we basically exchange. She's like, do you have news of Sandon? Like, and we're like, didn't the messenger reach you? She's like, yes, but I was hoping for more. And we're like, well, he was on horseback. He left after us. So whatever he says must be true. She says that she's. I asked if she's still gonna head over there, and she's like, I'm not going to let Bannock do whatever he wants. So I'm gonna fight him. And
yeah.
I'm like, okay, good luck with that. May God go with you.
Yeah.
And she's like, sweet. And then we leave. That's it.
We do find out in some point of this whole conversation that the king's name, right?
Yes, I did it.
The king's name.
Yep, I got it right here.
Is Brannon Marithian.
Brandon Marithian.
Burn that into your mind.
Brannon
Marithian. This will come in handy later. So we continue on our way.
Evander gets in his jab there. I remember Tay making a big deal about the king actually gonna do something. Like he's like, the king's finally about to do something. And I said, with the situation changing, and it's not just the dukes or the vice-counts battling each other, right? And it's now like a invading force. Maybe it's a king's duty. So hopefully, Devril's optimistic. He's like, it's a king's duty. He should do it. It's justice. Yeah. And then Evander's just like, okay, whatever, man. Like fucking king who does nothing. Yeah. His Gaelic racism showing over there.
Well, you know what? They weren't very nice to him. So
yeah, no, fair enough. No, it's.
So the next day is apparently God's Day. It's the 7th of Mercator.
2 days past. The day before is called Man's Day.
Yep.
Man's Day.
And the sound of heavy footfalls and whirring.
Lots and lots of whirring.
Is approaching. Before us stands a big mechanical thing.
Mm.
It's huge. It's got a bunch of different sized limbs. It's got four arms.
Or arms, yeah. Two
It's
regular arms, and like one is like a small
like a little
mechanical
grabby.
thing
Yeah.
in the from the side, and then the one's a little bigger one with a little claw that does a grabby,
Yeah.
thing.
It's made entirely of steel,
Yeah.
which isn't a thing. So yeah, it's got this giant backpack on too.
Yeah.
Um, we yeah, it doesn't have a head, but it does have this thing that seems to be like right in the middle of its chest that it could kind of be a head. It just um looks like a hunchback kind
Yeah.
of.
It's completely metal. And yeah. No, he there's we have this interchange. Evander knows that it's called uh fuck. A metal pilgrim? Is that what it's
Iron
called?
Pilgrim.
Iron, not metal. Iron
Yeah,
Pilgrim. That's what
because
it's called.
it's a steam jack. It's a war jack. I'm telling you, that's what this is. Anyway, so
Yeah.
oh my god,
Focus.
yes. So he he finally goes, hail, hail.
Vivorthan, is that you?
Yeah. And then he says, "Greetings, travelers. Have you come to trade?" And Nurha says yes, like right away. Uh, so he's like, "What do you have to trade?" And Nurha's is like, "Well, we have money." And he's like, and he doesn't take currency.
Yeah. He actually, it's at this point where he takes the big sack that he's carrying, this large ass thing. His arms twist back unnaturally, flip it over, unclasp some ties, and everything just spreads out. There's bunch of items, like random shit, just spread out before us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, we learn that his name is RGS 473-1.
Yeah.
Uh,
Repeat.
Repeat. RGS 4.
Yeah. Then we're
yeah.
like, Nurha, shut up, man. Shh.
Yeah, and Nurha's like, this is so fun. Yeah. He yes.
That's it. Okay.
I wrote down stuff and it doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so basically he comes in. Nurha has some trinkets, some rings, and the Angelus as well. Angelus. Angelus? No. Yeah, Angelus. Angelus. Yeah.
The illicit substance.
Yeah. So he trades some rings out. He gets some gear, some dwarven stuff, which is actually pretty impressive. Val sees some scrolls that she has an eye on. So Nurhaz, being the only one that has anything worth the trade, was just like, it's okay, I'll buy them for you. And we're like, what? Are you really a dwarf? And
Yeah.
So he like gives her, the rings and stuff, and he trades the illicit substance. And this guy's like scanning stuff, and it's just super. He doesn't fit, and we as PCs are like, he doesn't even belong. What? I'm so confused.
Yeah.
So,
where?
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
so
Ellie's like running around the guy and like climbing the dude. And
yeah, and Devril's doing his best to like babysit.
It's not
Yeah.
working.
Yeah,
She's
and
too
so
fast.
yeah, and so Val gets her scrolls. We don't know what they are, but we know what they are. They're like magic scrolls, with spells and shit. So I'm kind of interested as a PC, what they actually are. And then Evander has some bandages and stuff that he got. He actually improved his surgeon's kit because he got some good stuff. And yeah, and then Nurhaz got some dwarven armor, which he wasn't able to get at the quartermaster. For one, human camp, and 2, he failed his influence roll. Yeah, so we get all decked out. We trade information as well. Nurhaz asks if they trade information. He says, information can be traded. And we're like, well, what about if we just, you tell us what you know, we tell you what we know. And he's like, okay. We tell him everything that's happened in Sandon. He's like, oh, that's good. In like the robot voice. He's like, oh, that's good. That'll change my plans. And then he tells us that oh my God, and I didn't write the full name, but I just wrote the Das Craig Company.
The Tyrion markers launch Nocta of Umbres City.
More well known as the Das Craig Company. The Das Craig Company, which is a band of mercenaries that were actually holed up in Umbrise City. Where they have been stationed for years, have all left, are leaving. And we're like, all right. It's like Umbrise City is far north. It's west, but it's north, and it's also like really far from us. And we're like, sure, whatever. Okay. So he packs up, goes on his ways, goes clunking down the road, and we're like, oh, all right, then, good talk. We continue on our way, and we make camp. And the hand rub, for next session, campfire RP, baby, woo! Okay, and that's where we left off our session. Was that so very very heavy on the RP. As well, again, we don't do it justice on the recaps, but we definitely do our best. We definitely love it if you join us on Sunday Night RPG to get the full experience. But speaking of which, that brings us to the end of recap. Stay tuned to get some announcements on what we're doing for Easter, since a few things are going to get shuffled around. We'll be back in a bit.